Hey old hoss, good to see ya. Pass me that pencil there. You and I have got some writing to do because the sparrows are flying again. Here are 19 reasons to read The Dark Half. Hi everyone, I'm Dave Musson, at Dave Musson on Instagram. Welcome back to my channel where I'm going through the works of Stephen King in chronological order and giving you 19 reasons to read each book. If that sounds like something you'd like more of, go and check out the other videos on my channel and subscribe so you don't miss any in the future. We've now reached the final book of the 1980s from Stephen King, The Dark Half, a book that sees him see out the decade in gruesome style. Without any further ado, I just want to get right into this. As always, there might be some spoilers ahead, but if you're ready, here are 19 reasons to read The Dark Half. So anticipation for this book's publication in 1989 was super high. Why so? Because 1988 was the first calendar year without a new Stephen King book since 1976. And the result of that? 1.56 million copies of The Dark Half sold, which made it the second biggest selling book of the entire 80s. So this was the last book King wrote before he got totally clean, although he did quit drinking while he was writing this one. And he said that he always had a fear that his talent was actually just hidden in the bottle, and he was really scared of trying to see what he could do without that liquid backing. So a story of a writer wrestling with his more famous alter ego who turns up and threatens to kill his family. You can kind of see where the inspiration for this one came from. That feels like a good point at which to talk about the hook of this one. So we have our lead character, Tad, or maybe Thad Beaumont. It's spelt T-H-A-D. I've heard people say Thad, I've heard people say Tad. I'm going to say Tad because I'm not very good with TH sounds. Anyway, Tad Beaumont, writer, recovering alcoholic. So Tad's literary fiction are well liked by the critics but not doing brilliantly. However, his grisly, violent crime novels about a guy called Alexis Machine, written under the pseudonym of George Stark, they are making him big bucks. Anyway, someone discovers Tad's secret and threatens to go public with it. So Tad beats him to it and stages a mock burial of George Stark, complete with a photo shoot and a fake tombstone and everything. Thing is, Stark then, obviously, comes to life, climbs out of his fake grave and goes round and starts smoking cigarettes, calling people old hoss, and killing people violently. After that, he sets about hunting down Tad with the purpose of making Tad write another Alexis Machine book, and in doing so, allow George Stark to live properly and Tad to, well, just be carried away. Yeah, it's quite a fun one. So let's talk about Tad's pen name, George Stark. It was used in honour of Richard Stark, which in itself is the pen name of Donald E. Westlake. And, fun fact, Richard Stark was also the inspiration for King's own pen name, Richard Bachman. Are you keeping up? Because of course, Richard Bachman is Stephen King's Dark Half. So one of the most iconic moments in this one is during the mock burial of Stark, where we see his tombstone and the inscription written on it, which is "Not a very nice guy," which turns out to be very accurate. So the theme of twins is strong in this one. Stark isn't just a dark half of Tad's psyche. We actually learn that Tad had a twin who he absorbed in utero. Great Nirvana album, by the way. And later, some parts of that dead twin had to be removed from Tad's brain when he was a child. Surgeons were able to take away a bit of nostril, some teeth, some fingernails, and an eye. All of that perhaps leaning towards the idea that there was a bit more substance to Stark than Tad might have originally thought of. That's not it for twins. Tad and his wife Liz have twins of their own, and they seem to feel each other's pain and read each other's minds, and it's creepy. So I mentioned killing, and there is a lot of killing in this book. If you like violent killing, you will like this book an awful lot. Basically, Stark spends his time taking out everyone that he sees as being responsible for his death. And of course, he is Tad. So all of those crime scenes have Tad's fingerprints all over them, which is kind of problematic for Tad. So warning on this, there is a scene involving a penis that is all kinds of nope. So some of my personal scariest scenes in this one are when Tad drops into a trance-like state and writes as George, only to come back into the room, look down, and discover the crazy ramblings of his equally crazy alter ego. Makes you wonder sometimes about how King himself goes about writing. I mean, he's pretty damn prolific, isn't he? Perhaps sometimes he just zones out and lets the pencil do the work. Oh, this is sort of a Castle Rock book. We spend a bit of time in the Rock. There's also a mention for Ludlow, home of that crazy cemetery for pets. And the police chief is none other than everyone's favourite sexy magician hero, and that will make sense when we get to Needful Things, by the way. It's Alan Pangborn. Time spent with Pangborn is always time well spent. By the time you finish this one, you'll be very pleased to know that you get to spend more time with him in a couple of books. My neighbours spending their Friday night hoovering. They know how to live. So we get a lot of references to sparrows in this one. Specifically, the sparrows are flying again, which is kind of George's calling card. It's pretty spooky, it builds throughout the book, and when the sparrows do actually turn up, fuck, is it spectacular. So sticking with sparrows, let me say this word: psychopomp. No, I didn't just malfunction. That's an actual word that I've just taught you. It's actually what the sparrows are. They're not just cute little birds that turn up at the end of the book. They are beings that escort newly deceased souls from the earth to the afterlife, all while teaching everyone a fun new word at the same time. Say it with me: psychopomp. So let me say that after reading this, you will never look at a prosthetic arm in quite the same way again. Or sparrows, for that matter. So some fun trivia on this one. King's original idea for the Dark Half was to sort of have life and art imitate each other. Yes, this was going to be co-authored by King and Richard Bachman, which it kind of is, I guess, but just without the marketing push behind it. So many people love a bleak King ending, and this is one of them. As you turn the final pages of the Dark Half, you get very little sense of any long-lasting happiness for the Beaumonts. And we actually learn a bit more about how all that pans out, with some subtle references in Needful Things and later Bag of Bones. So lastly, for the second of these videos in a row, I am going to mention Adaptations, but for this, I'm not talking about George A. Romero's 1993 movie, even though that is fucking terrific. No, it's a totally different adaptation I want to mention here. This is, as far as I'm aware, the only Stephen King book to have been adapted into an MS-DOS computer game. No, really. Somebody's even done a run-through of it and posted it on YouTube. I'll try and find the link and pop it in the comments below. Anyway, all that being said, more books as MS-DOS adventure games, please. So there you go, 19 reasons to read The Dark Half by Stephen King. Do let me know in the comments what you think, and in particular, tell me who you prefer, Tad or George. No judgment from me either way. Don't forget, you can subscribe for more videos like this, and I'm on Instagram if you want to come and say hi. I'm at Dave Musson over there. Anyway, we've got a new decade coming up next, so do check back soon for that. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Take care, and we'll see you very soon, old hoss.